Hey, it's Christian, and welcome back to another episode of the 21st Century Man. We're actually outside today. This is going to be God, and you can tell because my feet are getting chomped on by some ants here, so if the video gets a little shaky, and yes, it is video today, this is an experiment, shall we say, of shooting the podcast on video and having it both audio and video for you guys. My name is Christian. I am your host. I am the host of the 21st Century Man podcast, the founder of Second Life Coaching, and it is an absolutely gorgeous day here in Orlando, Florida. That's why I've decided to come and take the show outside before the rain gets here, and I wanted to talk to you for a few minutes today about confidence. Now, confidence is a very, very popular topic in personal development circles. Everybody talks about confidence, and I look at it as it is a muscle that needs to be exercised. It's like when you go to the gym, you are proficient in, some of your muscles are your entire, let's see if I can put this into some sort of coherent sentence here today. It is your entire body. Think of that as confidence. Think of every muscle in your body all coming together into one bundle called confidence. Now, in some parts, you're stronger than others. For most of my life, my legs and my back have been a lot stronger than these skinny monkey arms I've always had all my life. And so exercises that focused on legs and quads and back were always much easier for me than arm things like push-ups or pull-ups or any sort of dumbbell or barbell exercises. It's similar with confidence, and I'll tell you why. I'll tell you two stories here. First story being years ago. For years I worked R&D for a defense company. I was a rocket scientist, a chemist and an engineer. And I was really good at what I did, and I was very, very confident in my job, in figuring out what customers wanted, how to develop new and exciting ways to blow things up and make things catch on fire, or in some cases, put out fires. However, I had an opportunity at one time to go and present a paper on some work that I had done. And although I knew the material, I worked on it for 18 months, 2 years. I developed the materials in the paper. I wrote the paper. I wrote the presentation. And when it came time to give it, I was terrified. It's that public speaking thing. So I was confident in the work I had done, in the paper and the presentation that I had done, in my job and my ability to perform my duties, but when it came to speaking, I was terrified. Situational confidence. I had a conversation this past week with someone who used to do modeling and had been in some beauty pageants, and she was telling me that in certain situations she's shy and reserved, and I thought to myself, well, why? You've done these sorts of things, you've walked catwalks and modeled and done beauty pageants with talent and the whole 9 yards. And she said something that was very, very interesting. She said it's a different kind of situational confidence, and it is starting to rain. This is kind of awesome, so I'm stay out here as long as I can before I start getting soaked. And that's kind of what it is. Situational confidence. We are all confident in certain areas of our life, and we're all lacking confidence in other areas of our life. It's only natural. Like me, for instance, being behind a microphone and doing the podcast, fine. Getting on video, meh. One-on-one with people, I'm great. Put me in front of a room full of people, and I'm a little bit nervous. And I think I got some water on the lens here, so let me wipe that off. There we go. And so, but in front of a room full of people, a bunch of people that I'm not sure, I'm not all that confident. I have my insecurities come to light. And if you want to get through life, those are the sort of things you got to kind of get beyond. You've got to work on that confidence muscle. My coach always tells me, get comfortable with being uncomfortable. And getting out to events and talking to people and shaking hands and putting myself in positions to where, it's me kind of being that open and vulnerable bit with other people and talking to them in some things I'm not quite used to. It's not really in my wheelhouse. Is the only way you're ever going to become confident. The only way you're going to build that sort of skill, that sort of confidence in yourself to move to the next level. And there's a lot to be said about that. Sorry about the shake there. Another ant bit my toe. The dangers of being outside in nature and shooting the show, I'll tell you. So if you want to be confident, if you want to get out there and you want to do something and you want to go for something, you've got to learn to be comfortable with being uncomfortable. I'll be perfectly honest, it's scary as hell, man. I am insecure as all get out. My good friend Sam Crowley the other day posted a good comment on Facebook talking about how you see all these personal development gurus, and it's a word I could honestly, if it disappeared from the industry lexicon, I'd be very, very happy. He says, I guarantee you that every single one of these people, from the rookies starting out all the way up to the Tony Robbins and Brendan Burchards of the world, are just bundles of insecurity. And it's true. And some people are more than happy to expose their insecurities, be completely vulnerable, be completely open and transparent as a glass of water. Damn ants. While other people like to hide their insecurities in bravado and just noise and kind of over-the-top nonsense. There's a few I can think of off the top of my head that I see their videos on Facebook, and it's shallow. Confidence and insecurity, they kind of go. It's like a yin and a yang kind of a thing. If we had moments where we weren't, if we didn't have moments where we were insecure, we would never know what it was to be confident. And we didn't have moments where we were confident, we'd never know what it was like to be insecure. And it's a lot of that way with things in life. You really can't have one without the other. There's no such thing as being a wholly confident person. There's just levels of confidence and levels of insecurity. And in order to make your way through things and kind of push yourself to be on a higher level and really go after those things that you want, you got to push through those thicker walls of insecurity using what confidence you have. Because I'll tell you what, for every single bad day you never thought, or experience that you never ever thought you'd get through, here you are listening to the show or watching this video and you managed to survive. And that is a lot. That says a lot. That says all those things in your head, all those insecurities, all those presuppositions that you weren't good enough, or what you were facing was going to kill you, what you were facing was going to, be the end of everything, that you couldn't possibly make it through it. You did. And you made it. And you know what? You got to celebrate those victories. Celebrating the victories over your insecurities, getting through your fears, getting through the tough times is what's going to be a big boost to your confidence. Gary Vee likes to talk about value strengths over weaknesses, and I think strengths over weaknesses is a good point, but I think you have to work on your weaknesses. Don't focus on them, but you need to work on them so you build them up. So like any house that has, you could build it on a foundation that's good on 7/8 of it, or build it on top of a decent piece of land that isn't quite solid. We see that a lot here in Florida, where all of a sudden sinkholes will open up and swallow your whole house. Open up a hole and swallow your house. Man, I tell you, this is one of those days where Oh, the sentences just aren't flowing well, but we're going to push through this. It's like that with your life. If you're building something on a foundation that's mostly strong but has some weak spots, eventually those weak spots are going to be exposed. And the only way to get beyond those weak spots, the only way to strengthen them up, is work on them. So for like me, it's getting out and talking to people. It's being on the phone. It's just kind of getting out of my introverted shell. And I know you're thinking to yourself, introverted? You're an introvert? Yeah. I mean, it's easy to be behind the camera, behind the microphone. It's not quite so easy for me to be in a group of people that I don't know, in an unfamiliar situation. But to bust out of my introverted shell, because I'll tell you what, when you get beyond all that, you can hear my other phone buzzing and beeping and binging. You'll find out that there's a lot of people that just like you, and all those things that you think in your head, that feed your insecurities, that feed your fears that you're not good enough, that you're not smart enough, you're not pretty enough, you're not handsome enough, you're not whatever enough, are really kind of just bullshit. Because I'll tell you what, if people thought about us and gave us the amount of attention that we think they give us, it would be a wholly different world. I'll tell you, 99% of the time, the people who you think are sitting there judging you and watching you and looking at you, and you've got all these audios and videos playing in your head of possible scenarios, movies that haven't even been written yet, it's all garbage. We're all just humans kind of stumbling through life, trying to do the best that we can, trying to learn and grow and make a world a better place, to kind of make our impact, to shine a little bit of light in the darkness. And if we allow our insecurities to get the hold of us, if we allow if we don't work on strengthening our confidence to get out there and be that light in the darkness, then you're just robbing the world of something pretty damn valuable, and that valuable thing is you. So we're going to call this, we're going to end this up here. If, as always, you want to come check us out on the web at secondlifecoaching.com, on the Facebook at facebook.com/secondlifecoaching, listening to this podcast on your favorite podcast host, please do me a favor and leave a rating and a review. I would greatly, greatly appreciate it. I love everyone who does. And if there's any topic that you want to hear on the show, or if you perhaps want to be on the show, leave a comment on the show page or on Facebook, or on this video down below on the YouTubes. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel, because on this channel there's going to be all sorts of awesome shit that you're not just going to get on the podcast or on the blog. And we'll get in touch, and that would be awesome. So until next time, guys, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to change your life, and I know, because I am one. Peace.